Hello, everybody. How is everyone doing today? I'm going to give it a few minutes and hopefully some of you will join me before I get started. Happy Sunday. I hope you are home relaxing after a long week. So, hey, Nikki. Hey, Liz. Hello, beautiful women. How is everybody today? I'm so happy you're here. I was really looking forward to this topic. This is the topic that was requested by popular demand, self-confidence. And I have to tell you, I was really excited because I think this is something that we probably should be talking about more often. And I hope you all are have your pencil and maybe a piece of paper available, because I think we're going to touch on a lot of stuff. So let's get right into it. I don't know who else is going to be joining us, but I'm going to just get right into it. And just feel free to comment below if you have any questions or if anything that I'm talking about. Hi. If anything that I'm talking about resonates with you, or if you need further clarification on anything that I'm about to share, just comment and I'll try to keep up with the comments, okay? So, I guess the first thing that I want to say is that I think a lot of times when we, use the expression confidence or self-confidence, a lot of people believe that it's the same thing. Okay. They think that when you say I'm confident or I have self-confidence, that it actually is a different way of saying the same thing. And it's not. They're actually two distinct qualities or traits. And that's what we're going to explore today. Usually when someone says, I don't have confidence, they kind of speak of it in a way that's kind of like abstract, right? Like something that other people have. It's not something that I have. And you hear it all the time. We might innocently say, oh, I wish I was more like you, when you see a friend doing something brave or taking a chance and doing something that you may not feel you have the courage to do. I love how confident you are. I wish I could do what you do. Or I wish I could do things that are scarier or bold. And so we're always kind of like looking at it like it's something outside of ourselves. And also, the other side of it is, if we spend a lot of time on social media, then that's another way where we can kind of feel even more self-conscious about our lack of confidence, because we see all these people, posting their beautiful, perfect life. And what we don't get, or we kind of forget, I think we get it, but we just kind of choose not to, realize, is that at the moment when we're looking at these things, like, these people are just basically posting clips of their life. It's like if you took your day and you just took out the best parts of your day and made like a movie. That's really what you're seeing in social media. But yet we allow ourselves to be so influenced by these images that we think that their life is perfect all the time and our life completely sucks. And that's not the case at all. So it's important to know the distinction, so that we know if we're looking at confidence or we're looking at self-confidence. What is it that you're lacking? Because you may have some form of confidence, and what you really need is self-confidence, and vice versa. So knowing the difference between the two will actually help you create more of what you need. So the first thing that we need to kind of identify is, what is confidence? Well, confidence is basically, it's you being secure in the ability to handle anything that comes your way. Okay, anything external, any challenge or situation that life throws at you. You need both. That's okay, Liz. It's beautiful that you're able to acknowledge that. Honestly, it really is, because a lot of times we get so hung up and we don't want people to see our inadequacies, or how self-conscious we are about not having certain traits. And I honor you for actually acknowledging it, because that's the first step, because now you know where to start. So self-confidence is really the ability to handle anything that comes your way. So what could that be? It could be losing your job. It could be suffering a loss in the family, losing a child, losing a parent, losing a sibling. It could be suffering an illness, basically any challenge that life throws your way. And I know those examples might seem extreme, loss and pain, but aren't those usually the things that we have the most problem with? So it's important to include them because those are the challenges that usually send us into this space where we feel stuck, that we can't get out of. And of course, there are positive challenges. Having to move to a new state or a new country, or having to learn a new language or skill, or even a new job, those are positive. Those are kind of like the highs of life, that they're challenges, but they're kind of like exciting challenges that we usually don't mind tackling. So basically, it's any situation that forces us to go outside of that comfort zone. Okay, as simple as that. It's just the ability to face any situation that forces us to leave that safe zone. So now the other side of that is self-confidence. Okay, and self-confidence is a little different, because self-confidence, if I had to kind of have you form like a picture, think of confidence as something on the outside of you. Okay, and self-confidence deals with the inner parts of you. Does that make sense? So self-confidence is the ability that you have to navigate through all these emotions, okay, as you are experiencing the challenges, the different situations that life is throwing at you. So they are very connected, but they're really two different traits, two different abilities. Okay, confidence is the ability to really handle any challenge life throws at you, any situation. And then self-confidence is your ability to navigate the emotions that are going to come up for you as you're handling those challenges in those situations. So comment if you get that part, because I don't want to move too fast. I want to make sure that we all are understanding what the difference is so that we get the full impact of this. And as I mentioned before, they go hand in hand. When you have confidence, you also have a high opinion of your abilities. Okay, your confidence allows you to reach your goals and overcome challenges, and your self-confidence allows you to know that deep within you, you have everything that you need to navigate and manage your emotions as you go through these challenges. Does that make sense? So give me some feedback if that makes sense for you, because I want to make sure that we're all getting this. Now, I want you to think about this. When someone with confidence walks into a room, let's say you're at a restaurant, you're at a meeting at work, or whatever the situation is, and someone walks into a room and this person has confidence. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I mean, when you kind of observe people, you kind of know. It's in the energy that they carry. It's in their posture. Yeah. You have gained self-confidence. That's beautiful, Lindsay. That's beautiful. It takes work. It takes work. And we're going to get into really the things that we can do to kind of build on both, build on confidence and build on self-confidence, because there's so many layers to this. And understanding how our brain works is really the first part of getting all this. So that's awesome. So when you see someone walk into a room and you see how they carry themselves, the energy that they have, their posture, their body movement, their eye contact, okay? When you walk into a room and you have confidence, it really instructs people how to treat you. I mean, just think about that. And here's another distinction, because you can't really make anyone like you, right? You can't force people to like you. But people are going to think whatever they want about me. I have no control of that. But the way that I value myself, remember, we learned before, self-esteem relates to the way that you value yourself, the way you present yourself to the world. So when I walk into a room, my presence and the way that I communicate with my body language, lets everyone know that I value myself enough and I expect you to respect me. Okay? And that's a huge difference. If you feel like you walk into a room or people in your circle, you know, the people that you deal with don't respect you, think about how you're carrying yourself. What do they know about you that's influencing the way that they treat you? Do they know that you hate yourself internally? That you're always talking down about yourself? Okay. If you remember one of the posts that I made, I think it was this week or last week, I don't remember, but it really spoke to that, because it said, love yourself so fiercely that when others see you, they know how it's done. Right? And that's exactly what I was talking about. If you treat yourself with respect, if you talk about yourself in a kind way, in a loving way, you'll have so much love. It will ooze out of you to the point that when you do interact with others, it's going to be kind of like an unspoken guide or an unspoken instruction. This is how I expect you to treat me. And if you don't treat me this way, I'm out. Because that's okay too. In fact, that's what we all should do. We shouldn't stick around and tolerate anyone treating us with disrespect. We set the standard. Okay? So now my question to you is, how many of you talk about yourselves in a negative way? Your life, your shortcomings. You see that? In a way that kind of brings that self-love down and lets everybody know that you don't really think too high of yourself. Maybe you're so used to it that you don't even realize that you're doing it. So confidence also there's another side to it, because, and this is something that I want to bring up, because there are many of us that either are entrepreneurs, business owners, or maybe have positions of leadership in our jobs, right? So confidence also influences our leadership skills, because, you know, humans, we're pack creatures, and we generally look up to people that are confident. We're more willing to trust someone that is sure about themselves, that can handle themselves, that can handle those challenges, that has that confidence, right? When someone is confident, it's easy to trust them, because we know, I know that you're going to get stuff done. So I'm okay with you being my leader. So if you want to have a leadership position, or maybe you don't have a choice because of your job, it's important that you recognize the need to cultivate that, because people are not going to really look up to you or respect you if you do not show that you have that ease about you, that you're okay in your own skin, that confidence, right? Are you afraid to ask questions? Are you afraid to speak up if you're in that leadership position? Do you hide and play it small? You see, is this how you normally handle yourself when you're at work? Lack of confidence does not motivate others to look up to us. It just doesn't work that way. And the beauty of it is that when you do have confidence, you're able to do both. You're able to follow when it's necessary, and you're also able to take the lead. So it's an important thing to remember. If you are in a position where you need to put on that hat every now and then, okay, it's definitely helpful. And again, as I said, it's something that influences our professional life. So it's important to allow that trait to kind of come out when we need it to. And I know you've women heard the expression, confidence is sexy, right? And it is. I've always been fascinated by sisters that maybe don't fit, you know, society's mold of beauty or what the standard of beauty is. And maybe they're super skinny and don't have any, you know, like I said, don't fit that mold. They could be on either side of the spectrum, slightly heavy, overweight, or very skinny. And they still carry themselves like they're the most beautiful creatures on the planet. And guess what? Others treat them like they are, because they have that confidence within themselves. That confidence that they have exudes that attractiveness, and it makes it very sexy, in my opinion. Who doesn't like to be around someone that's positive all the time? I know I do. I feel good. I feel uplifted. I feel encouraged whenever I surround myself with positive people, positive women, you see? And so people that are confident also think in a positive way, not only about themselves, but about others. They don't need to put themselves down, and they don't need to put others down or judge others. And we talked about that before. Remember, self-esteem, what the habits of people with low self-esteem, they belittle others, they judge others. So when you have confidence and self-confidence, you don't allow yourself to go into that space of speaking negatively of anyone. It's not necessary. My confidence does not make me say, I'm better than you. No, because that would be insecurity. That would be low self-esteem talking, right? My confidence says, I like myself. Actually, no, I love myself. And because I love myself so much, I have enough love for you, and I have enough love for any human that crosses my path. Confidence can also be connected to a specific skill. And I think this is kind of like the way that we're used to hearing it. Okay, so I can say, for myself personally, I can say I'm confident when it comes to being a cook or a chef because I know I'm good at it. I can say that through doing, right, I've developed the skill. And that's a key word, doing. And we're going to get into that. But because I've been doing it for so long, and I've expanded, and I've tested different recipes on different, ethnic, cultural backgrounds, and Indian food and African food and Italian cuisine, I've expanded my ability to be able to cook. And so I can honestly say that I know I'm good at it. And it wouldn't be me being overly confident. It would just be me knowing that I have that skill. So another way that you can look at it and apply it to yourself, let's say you've played the guitar all your life. Now, that doesn't mean that you're the best guitar player in the world. It just means that you have mastered that skill to the point that you feel like you can hold your own, right? And it's important to know that because it really, when we think about it that way, anything that you are good at, you can be confident in. So start thinking in your minds, what are you good at? Because it may be something that you haven't even thought about. What are you good at? Maybe you're good at sewing. Maybe you're good at art. Maybe you're good at, it really doesn't matter. The point is, try to identify something that you can connect that confidence to, because that's a good start. Now, earlier I said that self-confidence relates to our emotional intelligence. It relates to our ability to navigate our emotions, right? Mindset is just another word of saying thought pattern. So it's our ability to navigate our mindset on all areas of life. And I really want to go into this a little deeper because this is where the good stuff is. I mean, it really is so important. By now, you hopefully have figured out that self-confidence is about the inner you. Okay, it's about your ability to navigate all of your emotions, good, bad, extreme, all of them. It's about how you're able to manage the stories that you tell yourself about you or your thought patterns. Does that make sense? I can tap dance. That's awesome. Remind yourself, that's right, for every negative thought that you have, bring in something positive that you know of yourself to be true. And that's how you counter that little annoying voice in your head. Okay, excellent. Excellent practice, Lindsay. I hope everyone reads that because that's what I've been telling everyone that we really need to do. For every negative thought that comes up, we have to just as quickly turn it around, because if we let that bad thought linger, it wins. We start believing it. Okay? We really will start believing it. That's excellent. So now we're going to go into it a little bit further, because where would you say, let me ask you this, where would you say your confidence starts? It starts in your mind. Your mind, it's probably the most powerful tool that you have available to you. Okay? And I want you to believe me when I tell you that your mind is the most powerful tool that you have on this journey as a human being. It really is. You have the ability to change everything that you are experiencing with your mind. When you have what usually is called a growth mindset, which is just another word for saying a positive thought pattern, okay? When you tend to think positively, this will help you build self-confidence, because our thoughts create our feelings. And our feelings, which is just energy in motion, right, become things which we react to, and then we create this experience, which is our life. Do you get that? So you have an experience, you have an outside challenge, let's say, or a situation come up, right? And that situation creates a thought in your head, whether it be positive or negative. We're going to get into that. That thought, if we allow it to fester, let's say it's a negative thought, and now we're starting to create all these stories in our head of how awful things are going to turn out before they've even happened, because that's usually what happens, right? Something negative happens, we lose our job, let's say. That's the outside thing that now comes in. And we have this thought in our mind, oh my gosh, my life is over. I'm going to be homeless in a week. How am I going to feed my kids? So all these negative thoughts now are playing in your head. You're creating all these stories. And now these thoughts become feelings. Now you have this energy rushing through your body. And if we had to put a name to it, it could be fear, right? It could be anxiety. It could be stress. It could be all these, because that's really what emotions are. It's just energy, but we identify them because of the way that they feel in our body. So now we give that feeling so much attention that we react to it. And now we create an action that now influences our experience. So it drives the behavior, exactly. And so understanding that, Lindsay, understanding that we have the power. And I'm not saying, okay, I'm not saying that that we're not going to have negative thoughts and that all we want is positive thoughts, because that is not realistic. Life is unpredictable. And so every now and then we're going to be experiencing things that are really heavy and are going to challenge us to the point where we're going to be stretched and we're going to feel like, can I really do this? But the idea is not to make it go away or go to the other extreme where we're feeling good all the time, because that's impossible. The idea is to identify it and then stop it right there before it becomes an action. You see that? So you have the thought, okay, I see you. Then you have the feeling or the emotion, okay, I see you. I feel you in my body. I know what that feels like. But then recognizing that you have the power to now shift that and not react and focus your energy on something more positive that will serve you better. Okay? So positive thoughts equals positive feelings equals positive action equals positive experience or positive life. That's how it works. Our thoughts become feelings, which we react to, which become actions, and then that becomes our life. It's really, really interesting. Once we understand that, we recognize how much power we actually have. Now, the other extreme is, so we talked about people that have a positive growth or a positive mindset or growth mindset. Okay, so the thoughts are positive. Now, the other extreme is people that have a fixed mindset are people that have a negative thought pattern. And that's where most of us fall into, right? Because we have to train ourselves to go on the other side. People that have a fixed mindset, normally, they hold the false belief that because they're not good at something, they're not good at anything. So they've basically given up before they even try, if that makes sense. So someone with a fixed mindset might say, I can't cook. I just can't cook. And I'll ask them, have you tried cooking? And they'll say, yeah, I tried it one time and it was awful. I sucked at it. So I know I can't cook. So basically, someone with a fixed mindset, the minute they fail at something, their first and only option is to give up. You see the difference? Now, I also want to say that self-confidence and growth mindset come from a place of knowing that you're going to make mistakes. It doesn't mean that you're not going to make mistakes. Just because you have a positive thought pattern doesn't mean that everything is going to always work out perfectly. But that's not the point. The point is that someone that has a growth mindset always knows that even if I fail, there's beauty in that. There's a lesson in that because I can learn. I'm going to be okay. You see, I'm going to grow from that. That's the difference. They always look at it as an opportunity to expand themselves. They don't stay stuck in the failure or the mistake. Okay? A fixed mindset person will see that failure as the end of it. That's it. I'm not going to try again. But a person with a growth mindset will thrive on the challenge because they'll see it kind of like as a, you know what, I'm going to do this. It drives them even more. And I know you know people like that, that when they get like a challenge or something that maybe they failed at, now they got to like prove to themselves that they can do it. And that's what you want to be. That's the way you want to be. You want to keep stretching yourself. As long as you're breathing, you want to keep stretching yourself and growing. Because the minute you stop saying, I don't want to grow, or the minute you start saying, I don't want to grow, or you keep having that fixed mindset, then you're going to stay stuck in that same situation that you're trying to climb yourself out of. Now, one thing that people with growth mindset do is they focus on the future. And this is very, very important, okay? People with a fixed mindset, they focus on the past. And if you look around you and you look at the people that maybe you have in your life or friends that you have, those that are negative and those that are always positive, use that as your point of reference. Think about that for a second. The ones that are always negative always seem to be stuck in the past. Someone did this to me 20 years ago. I have people in my family that are like that. I have friends, well, not close friends, but I know people that are like that. And it's really, it's probably the single thing that keeps us from progressing, and we don't even realize it because we're so hung up on what happened 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a month ago, that we're not thinking about, okay, I went through that, but this is what I learned and this is what I'm going to do now. That's what someone with a growth mindset does or says. Okay. Now, let me ask you, and I want you to comment below if you're still with me. Do you believe that you can grow and learn to do anything? Or do you believe that where you are now is as far as you're going to go on this journey because there's nothing you can do about it? Do you believe that you have no control over where you are right now? If there's something that you're struggling with that you're trying to change, do you have any control over it? So people with fixed mindset, what I've noticed is they tend to focus on the negative because they never really want to get out of their comfort zone to try new things. It's comfortable there. You know, it's like a kid with a little blanket, a little security blanket. It's comfortable. You hear people saying, oh, I have this goal. Or, yeah, I want to do that, you know, in the future. Or you ask them, well, why don't you start now? I can't. I don't, you know, I got to wait for the right circumstance, or I got to wait for they're always waiting for that perfect time, that perfect opportunity, the perfect moment. And 10 years go by, 20 years go by, and they're still talking about the same thing, and their life is still in the same spot, stuck. We don't want to be that. We want to always be focusing on growing, okay? People that have that growth mindset, they focus on the future. They're driven by the desire to challenge themselves because that's where expansion happens in every area of your life. So if you're wondering, what steps can you take to build on this confidence? Okay, what can you do? I'm going to give you 3 steps, and they're very simple. It's not rocket science. It's nothing complicated. Okay? So if you have a pen and paper, I want you to write this down, okay? The first step is pick a goal. Pick something that you are looking to work on, something that you're striving for, and take action. Take action. What would be the first thing that you have to do? Let's say you're trying to learn how to sew, or you're trying to learn how to crochet, or whatever. It could be crafting. It could be something deep or something serious. Maybe you want a new job. Maybe you need to change careers. You need to go back to school. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's something that your heart is calling you to do, your spirit is telling you, Liz, this is what you need to be doing, then you need to make yourself that list and take action, okay? Step number 2, once you take that action, allow yourself to fail or succeed, okay? Because that would be the second step. You're either going to fail at what you're intending to do, or you're going to succeed. And that's not the relevant part, because you're probably thinking, I'm going to fail, why do it? But that's the whole point, and I'm going to get to that in a minute. The whole point is allowing yourself to go through that process. If you reach your goal, awesome. Step number 3 is you're going to learn from it, okay? And if you don't reach your goal, you're still going to learn from it. So it's a win-win. So you're going to pick a goal, take action, allow yourself to fail or succeed, learn from it, rinse and repeat. That's how you build your confidence. It sounds really simple. It sounds really but here's the interesting part though. Even if you take your action and you don't get what you were after, it's not failure. And people that have a growth mindset, as I mentioned before, they understand this because you're still learning something. Confidence doesn't always come from winning, okay? And if you look at the most successful people that you admire or people that you know, examine them closely and see what their journey, what the trajectory of their success has been like. A lot of times, and I would dare say 99% of the time, they didn't win on their first try. They didn't win the first time they try to reach their goal, or maybe the second time. Their biggest aha moments came from huge failures. But they learned through those failures. They tweaked, they changed, they adjusted, and they kept at it. And that's when their confidence came in. You see? So if you're not taking action towards your dreams, towards changing your mindset, becoming healthier, whatever that thing is for you, if you're not taking action, then you're failing on purpose. You're failing on purpose. If you remember another post that I made a few weeks ago, confidence is what you get after you show up to do the work, not before. And I really want you to think about that, because confidence comes from doing. It comes from doing. So if you're feeling a lack of confidence in your life, it's because you're not doing. Maybe you're waiting, for the confidence to come so that you can then go travel the world. Maybe that's your dream. Maybe you're waiting for confidence to show on your lap so that you can quit your job and start your business, because that's your dream. Or maybe you're waiting to pursue losing weight, and you're waiting for the confidence to start doing that. But it doesn't work that way. So you're going to keep waiting and waiting, because you see, action is what fuels confidence. Action is what develops confidence. You don't get confidence as a bonus for sitting around complaining how unhappy you are, or how unlucky you are, how broke you are, how much you hate yourself or your life or your job. You don't get confidence for that. Confidence is the bonus that you receive. It's the gift after you've taken action to change the things in your life that you're tired of. I hope that makes sense to all of you. So if you want to grow your confidence, you need to pull out that goals list, okay, that you made in December or whatever your list is, and you need to start getting your hands dirty. What goals have you been putting off? What dreams have you been delaying out of fear? And better yet, what steps can you take today to start building or fueling that confidence? And if you say, well, I don't have any dreams or I don't have any goals, then I think you just haven't given yourself the space to discover what that is. You haven't given yourself permission to take pride in something that you're really good at. We all need to find something that we enjoy and dedicate ourselves to being good at it. And that's what's going to build our confidence. Okay? So remember, pick a goal, take action. Number 2, allow yourself to fail or succeed. Number 3, learn from it. Tweak, change whatever you need to, and then repeat. And I'll tell you this, over the years, I've done a good amount of inner work on myself to know that there's really nothing that can happen in my life that I can't handle. And the worst part that can happen is a thought. That's the worst part, what goes on up here, or an emotion, okay? Once I let that thought fester, what goes on in my body, what my body feels. But I know that I have the self-confidence. Again, confidence in my ability to manage, right? Manage any emotion that my beautiful mind conjures up. So I know that I can handle just about anything. And like I said before, I don't want you walking away thinking that the goal is to be happy 100% of the time, all the time. Because that's just impossible. That is just impossible. Life happens, and life is unpredictable and uncertain and amazing and sometimes sad, right? So naturally our emotions are going to be consistent with all of that, with all the stuff, all the ups and all the downs that life throws at us. But the point is that I really want you to understand how powerful you are, how much control you have over your emotions, how much control you have over the situations that come up, that you don't have to be a slave to your emotions. And I'm going to be vulnerable here and share something personal with you. And for my sisters watching, if you're watching the replay, you're watching now, I'm going to be talking about infant loss. So if this is something that will trigger you, I apologize in advance. I love you, and please feel free to speed up 3 minutes or so until I finish telling this story. But I want to share this with you because there's a message behind it, okay? Before Kayla and Malachi, my children were born, my husband and I experienced, I think about 7 miscarriages. I lost count, but I think it's about 7. And the last loss that we experienced before Michaela was the hardest because we were expecting twins. Everything was going perfect. I was feeling great. But about 5 months in, my water broke. And we chose to try to save the second twin because they were in different sacs. And so rather than just abort both of them, which was what the doctors were recommending, we chose to just kind of let nature run its course. If one of them was healthy, we just wanted to hold on and hope for the best. So I was basically on bed rest for 3 long months. It was a very traumatic experience, a very traumatic pregnancy. And our attempt to save our second twin ended at 26 weeks. And I'll skip the details because that's not the point of this. But I will tell you that that was truly the hardest, darkest time of my life. I thought that getting divorced, before I married my husband now, getting divorced was the hardest, but that was a walk in the park compared to how I allowed the pain from this loss consume me. And in the beginning, there were some days that I cried so much that I felt like I couldn't even breathe. I felt every emotion possible. I felt shame. I felt guilt. There was anger, despair. There was regret. There was hurt. There was disappointment. Everything, you name it, I felt it. And the thing is that I truly allowed myself to feel all those emotions. I reveled in them. I sat with them. I had coffee and lunch with them. I let them stay for dinner. I let them spend the night. I truly entertained them until they no longer served me. You see, after a few months, I woke up one day and I realized that I had one of two choices. Because every day for me was kind of like a repeat of the prior day, like Groundhog Day, that movie, but without the comedy, without the laughter. I'm laughing now. It's not funny, but I'm just trying to find humor in it. So bear with me, okay? But I had one or two choices. I could remain a victim to this unexplainable, devastating, unfortunate event, or I could use that to transform myself, finding my inner power again. And that's what I chose to do. I took daily action. I took steps every day until I was mentally well enough to just be myself again. And I'm sharing this with you not to get pity or make you feel sad, because I'm not into that victim mindset. I'm sharing it because I really, really, really want you to understand that no matter what happens to you in life, no matter what you're faced with, you're not going to die. Even if it feels like, even if those emotions are so heart-wrenching that you feel like you cannot take another day, you're not going to die. I want you to really get that, my loves. I want you to really get that. So self-confidence is about more than just believing in yourself. It's about knowing, okay? Knowing that you have the inner power, that ability to manage any emotion and keep going. Please believe this. When you see someone, go up in front of hundreds of people to speak, and you say to yourself, wow, how do they do that? How does she do that? They were able to do that because they knew that no matter what happens on that stage, they would be okay. If they stumbled on their words, if they fell up as they were going up the podium, if they embarrassed themselves in some way, they had the self-confidence, the ability to manage all those emotions, right? The embarrassment, the fear, the insecurity. They had the ability to manage all that and knew that they would be okay. And again, the formula to building your confidence is doing. Doing is the secret formula. So again, I'm going to keep repeating this. Pick a goal, take action. Allow yourself to fail or succeed. Learn from it, tweak it, change it. Whatever didn't work, make it better and repeat it. And no matter what happens, you will learn. And just like a muscle, the more you practice it, the more it will grow, the bigger your confidence will become. We're constantly telling ourselves that we're not good enough, that other people are better, other people are smarter, and we need to stop that. We really need to stop that because we're all having the same human experience. We're on different levels. We're not on the same level, but we're all having the same human experience. There's no human that is better than me. There's no human that's better than you. We're all the same. And so just to kind of give you, just put it in perspective, if you have, let's say, a homeless man and the CEO from Walmart, let's say they're both struggling with drug addiction, which one would you say is a better human being? They're both drug addicts. So there's really no difference. At least from my perspective, there isn't. Sure, one of them might have more skills. In different categories, I would say. I wouldn't even necessarily say more skills. One of them is better at spreadsheets and boardroom meetings, right? Managing people. The other one is better at survival. I think I kind of like that skill better. But the point is, they're both the same. If you strip them down, they're both the same. And so you really need to remember that, because we're just as capable as the next person when it comes to doing anything, accomplishing anything, getting through anything. When we understand the lies that we tell ourselves in our head, and that you can do this, that you can't do this, or you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, they're only your thoughts. They're yours. You're the one that's repeating this stuff in your head, no one else. Okay? So if you remember nothing else from this session, I want you to remember confidence, okay? It's your ability to handle anything external that life sends your way, any challenge, any situation. Self-confidence is your ability to manage your emotions as you experience these challenges and situations. And action is what fuels confidence. So if you want confidence, you need to take action. Pick a goal, take action, allow yourself to fail or succeed, learn from it, do it again. And I really want to cover this topic of managing our emotions next, because this is really something that I feel we really have not been taught as children or growing up. And it's so important, because I really believe that emotional intelligence and being able to manage your emotions is one of the skills that could change the world. Seriously. I really believe that. The ability to identify your emotions, to name them, to acknowledge them, and allow yourself to feel them without guilt, without shame, without reacting to them is so powerful, because you will no longer navigate through life as a victim once you master that. Okay? I mean, the human experience is so beautiful when we allow ourselves to feel all of these emotions, but most of us are limiting ourselves to sadness and happiness. That's as far as our emotional vocabulary goes, because of not having that training from childhood. And most of us only want to experience the positive ones, because those are the only two that we know. We only want joy, happiness, excitement. But what about anger? What about fear? What about sadness or pain from loss, shame, heartbreak, disappointment? Do you know how to navigate through those without losing yourself? Because that's really important too, you know? So I know I'm talking a lot, and I really want to get your feedback so far. I want to stop and just kind of get your feedback. But the point is that those negative emotions, or the emotions that we consider negative because they're not as pleasant in our body, right? Happiness, joy, excitement, those feel good. So we want those. But the other ones that I just mentioned, they're there to teach us something too. They're there to teach us lessons. In fact, I always tell my children, there's no emotion that's negative. Emotions are our friends. It's kind of like our alarm system. They're there to tell us something. Something's wrong. There's something we need to learn. They're there to send us or bring us a message. And the sooner we understand that, I think the more whole we will be as human beings. Most of the times we don't want the negative ones, because those are the ones that we were taught from childhood, to push back. How many times were you told, don't cry when you get hurt? Or when someone else hurts your feelings in the playground, suck it up, right? That's what we do, or that's what was done to us. And guess what? Now we're adults, and we still can't deal with them. And I know this is going to sound harsh, but this is the truth, that if we can't deal with them, then we certainly can't teach our children how to deal with them. So we have this vicious cycle that just keeps us stuck, and we have our children following our footsteps. So whenever we look at kids today and we start thinking, wow, they're not being raised right, or they're not, then we have to kind of look at ourselves, because it's all because of this emotional handicap that people are walking around with. The inability to navigate these emotions, the inability to be able to change or control or stop their emotions without reacting to them. So this is really a topic that I believe deserves our attention because it's the root of, I think, every emotional issue that we experience. And so next week, I really would like to segue into how we can learn to manage our emotions, which, by the way, is also part of mindfulness. It's connected to that. So it'll kind of segue nicely into that. But before I end this, I want to say one more thing, okay? Lack of self-confidence comes from this false belief that you don't have enough of something, whether it's emotional validation, love, good luck, money, whatever you're telling yourself in your head, you don't have enough of, and that's why you don't have this, okay? So by acknowledging and appreciating what you do have on a daily basis, you would be combating that feeling of being incomplete or feeling like something is missing from your human experience. And I know that I've mentioned a gratitude list before. I mention it almost every time I come on here because it really is that important, okay? Once you realize your inner power, you will understand that everything you need to be happy, everything you need to feel confident, to love yourself is already in you. You don't have to look outside yourself. You don't. And I'm going to keep reminding you of this until you start believing it, because I really, really want you to grow. I want you to take 5 minutes every morning before you start your day. And I say morning because the morning is really the best time, because you're fresh, you're kind of, you're ready to tackle the world. And so having that positive mindset when you walk out of your home really sets you up to succeed. So make your gratitude list in the morning, meditate, pray, whatever works for you. Repeat your positive affirmations, write down all the things that you're thankful for in your life, your job, your health, your husband, your children, okay, your home. It doesn't matter what that list is. It only has to matter to you. It's such a simple but powerful practice that it's really, I'm sorry about that. My phone is ringing. That's my mother.
Call from Lorenzo Dolores. Call from Lorenzo Dolores.
I'm sorry about that, guys. It's such a simple practice, but it is so powerful.
Please leave a message after the tone.
It's gonna... Okay, she hung up. I'm sorry, I have to call her back. It's such a powerful practice, and it's gonna put you in a more positive and empowered frame of mind. And these suggestions are tools that I'm offering you so that you can get past whatever it is that's holding you back from being the best you. Okay, if you do these simple practices, I know they seem silly, they might seem useless, but I promise you, if you do them as if your life depended on them, because it does, you will start seeing a change in the pattern that you're trying to break from. And your mental health is so important. So I really want you to consider this. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for investing in yourself. And I hope you all keep growing. And I'm going to let you go now. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And I'll talk to you soon, okay? Love you. Bye.